Hello everybody and welcome back to another Ayoto Corporation video. Today, we're going to be taking a look at Gravity Ghost, a game in which you play as a ghost who is affected by gravity. It's pretty much as simple as that. There's a bit more to it, but you know. Anyway, this is the world of Gravity Ghost. You play as this little girl who has died and become a ghost. And you have to go around the galaxy collecting pieces of the Earth, which have been blown up as some part of giant calamity, which has resulted in a black hole where the Earth used to be. Doesn't make sense according to any sort of physics I know, but just go with it. Anyway, the game is by Lively Ivy, and will be releasing on January 26th. Now, if you're watching this video when it comes out, you may be thinking, why, that's odd. It's not January 26th yet. That's because we got review code. Woo! Anyway, the game will be $15 on release, although if you buy it in, like, the next 3 days, you get it off, $5 off, so it's only $10. And the game, well, it's not really made by a high-profile company. They've made a couple other games. This one is distinct because it has a lot of really high-profile people working with it. For example, this character here is being played by Ashley Birch of Hey Ash, What You Playin' fame. Also in the game, I'm not exactly sure who he is Logan Cunningham, also known as the voice of Bastion. So he's in here someplace. And probably most importantly, like this is the big selling point, I think, for this game, is the soundtrack is made by one Ben Prunty, also known as that guy who made the FTL soundtrack, and you can really hear it. There is a soundtrack version available, so yes, to answer that question ahead of time. Anyway, the object of the game is to find all the pieces of the Earth which have been scattered across the galaxy. And to do that, you have to find each of the 7 Guardians and retrieve the pieces of the Earth. And in order to get to the 7 Guardians, you need to sort of travel across various planets that have different properties. For example, this area has planets that are made out of water, so things can be hidden inside of them. And the game itself is really calming. There's no combat or anything, and technically you can't fail. You can just fly around and get irritated until you either decide to quit or you finally beat the level. But there's no real failure state in the game. You can just sort of soar around these planets as you will. The game itself controls very simply. You have left button, which rotates you counterclockwise, the right button, which rotates you clockwise, and you can jump using space, or you can do the same thing using the mouse. You just point where you want to move, and you right-click to jump. Okay, now to exit. And you can just sort of progress along the levels. Every area has one of these things. For example, this thing is the Light Heart, which I've actually played through most of this area before. It allows you to float, so you can maintain an orbit much easier. So, for example, here, normally I would have to keep moving or else I would sort of fall off the planets, but with float, I can maintain an orbit without really getting closer or farther away. On the other side is this ability called Heavy Heart, which allows me to basically increase my weight so I sink faster. There's also various elements on different planets. For example, in this one, someplace or another, it's someplace up here, you get your first magical element, which is water. Water allows you to walk around a planet that's like one of these planets, and it'll turn into a water planet like one of the ones before, where you can just sink right through, which allows you to solve various puzzles. Now for this one, you may be asking, what on earth is the deal with that bird that's down there? That is a spirit. One of the spirits, just normal spirits that have been sort of flung out into space as a result of the planet blowing up. And each spirit you can sort of collect, and the way this works is the spirit will move whenever you move. So, if I want to get a hold of this one, I need to somehow... Well, it's flying all the way over there. I need to basically get the spirit to jump into me. Like that. So now I've collected this spirit in my hair. I really don't know what to make of that little bit, but it's a thing that happens. Let me just grab the star to exit the level. These little things here that look kind of like Lucky Charms are charms that increase your hair length. I'm not really sure if that has any benefit besides being able to carry more spirits in your hair, because each spirit, like... The spirits live in your hair, so... Because my hair is so long, and I'll just show you how long it is this really quick. Because it's so long, I can probably carry a lot of spirits. And you actually can, like, find multiples. Like, this area, I believe, has 2. And in order to complete each spirit's thing, you have to find their bones, which is a little bit morbid. This one actually goes up here where Sparrow's haunt is. This one I pick up someplace up here, and I have to come back and drop it off. But each spirit unlocks a little bit of backstory, which is in the black hole. That's what I wanted to say. Okay, let me try that again. So, if you return the spirit to its body, you'll get a little cutscene which shows you some of her life before she died and the world blew up. Here's an example.
His name is Boy. This cat is ugly. Come here, ugly cat. Look at me. I'm a rich lady. It's okay. He's friendly.
Pepper, go inside.
Is this about the fox?
He could have killed her.
But he wouldn't have.
He is a wild animal. Go to your room right now.
Why? You're not Mom.
No, Mom is gone.
Because of your stupid boyfriend. I'm sorry.
Go to your room and stay there until I know what to do with you. You go to your room too, wherever that is.
So that's basically the aesthetic of this game. Sort of a strange, almost storybook kind of feel with crayons. I'm not sure if I like it. Like, the general idea I can get behind, but the problem is the animations seem kind of off. Like, as you could tell when they were talking, sometimes the mouths wouldn't sync up with what was going on, and they sort of seemed a little bit stiff. I don't know. It works fine for the most part. It's not that big of a deal, but it's still kind of odd feeling. Ah, got it. Yeah, and this is just another kind of planet. You have to break through the glass in order to get to the stuff inside. Oh, come on. It can be a little bit hard to control on occasion. You'll wind up just sort of flying around the level, which is nice. It's very calming, as I said. Come on, come on. There we go. Now that I've gotten 20 stars, I'm just going to unlock the other area here. Now this is interesting. I don't actually know what this does. Oh. Oh, this is interesting. So I have to unlock the planet? That's pretty nifty. So each level has a different sort of theme. Like this one obviously has some sort of crazy thing where you have to zoom around and unlock planets. And this, I'm guessing... Come on. Yes, there we go. Now, unless I miss my guess, I just have to go around the planet like this, and... solid! Which makes that boat fly off and pick up the star that was hidden. Cool. So that's a magic element.
Hey, come back! Where are you going?
Be good. We'll see you before long.
Try to forgive Arthur. It wasn't his fault.
I know. I just missed you.
Okay, I assume that was her dead parents. I'm also going to just make a call on what the story probably is. This is probably a metaphor for her life, which has been broken up into parts because of her parents' death. And in order to get back her life, which is to say undie, she has to collect all the pieces of her shattered reality from all the different places and return them so that she can go on living semi-happily. Now, the aesthetic... okay, the gameplay is fine. It's very simple to get a hold of, although it's sort of difficult to wrap your head around sometimes when you're zooming around this area really quickly. But it's nice and calming. The music is fantastic. I'll let some of that play over the end. And the game itself is very easy to pick up. You can just sort of grab it and just run with it very easily. I also like the sort of basic aesthetic of the game. Like, besides the comic book thing, the whole world is sort of structured in a strange, almost Native American type thing, where you have to go talk to the animal spirits, and you are like this strange ghost thing that's doing stuff. And yeah, I just like it, really. It's charming. That's probably what it is. It's charming. Now, one of the things that this game does is it will give you 2 keys whenever you buy the game, all the time. And the idea behind that, according to the developers, is to sort of pass on to someone who doesn't play games. You keep one for yourself if you want, and you can play the game through normally. But what else you can do is you can also pass it on to someone who doesn't play games. For example, a parent, a cousin, a small child who doesn't really play video games, and use this as sort of a gateway drug, to use a term that they probably didn't want to use, but I will use regardless. You give them this game, which is sort of a nice, calming experience, to just show them what it could be like to play a game and get this interactive experience that tells them this story. And using that, you can get them into game more thoroughly, hopefully. Okay, let me see if I can pick up this wolf. I also got to pick up the star, which is... there we go. Okay, I wonder if I can convert these planets. Oh, wait a minute, wait. Gotcha! Aha! I'm just gonna let the music run for a little bit now so you can hear what it sounds like. You'll definitely hear the sounds of FTL in this.
Welcome to space.
It's good music, isn't it? Anyway, I think that's pretty much all I really need to show off. The game plays well, and I guess I can show you this cutscene as well.
Have you been visiting that batty old woman?
No. She baked you a veggie quiche. It'll be by tomorrow.
You should be back in school by now. But with the lighthouse broken, no one can cross the waters.
It's okay. Eddie is teaching me the sacred geometry.
What?
Did you know the entire universe is made of triangles?
Look here. You want space geometry? Here's something real. This is the Earth. If you inscribe it within a perfect pentagon, and you draw 5 more perfect circles through the corners, and you draw a smaller circle tangent to those circles, you derive the size of the moon relative to the Earth.
Huh.
Neat, right? The truth is so much more interesting than fairy tales.
Okay, now you sound like Mom.
Whee!
Anyway, that's Gravity Ghost. I think I've given you all a fairly good idea. Again, I would highly recommend taking a look at this, if only for the soundtrack, but the gameplay itself is quite nice, and I don't think there's another game that really does this. The closest I can think of is Angry Birds Star Wars, and that's, I don't really know if that counts. Come on. Come on. See, this is what I mean. You can't really fail, but you can be stuck floating around in an endless loop for a long time. Speaking of which, come on. So, final thoughts on this, I guess. I'm just wondering if Ben Prunty is going to be the space music guy from now on, because that's what it seemed like. Come on. Come on. Just stop floating. There we go. I swear, sometimes. Anyway, that's Gravity Ghost for you. Thanks for watching. This has been Ayoto Corporation. Just remember, check out the game. It'll be released on the 26th if it isn't the 26th already. And it's $15. We'll see you later.